Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. Welcome to Top 100 minus 2. We're nearly there, top 98. So close. We were just saying off air that Dec top 90 or top 100 is probably going to come at some ridiculous. Probably, as you said, we might be covering Wexford or something like that.
Yeah.
Easter's not too. It's too far away. So top 100 would be a proper top, I'd imagine, but we're not quite there yet. It's top 98 covering Naas on the 3rd of April, and also a little preview towards Aintree by popular demand. We weren't planning on doing it, but if that's what the listeners want, that's what the listeners get. First and foremost, Dec, how are things? How are you? A nice 10, 12 to 1 winner today in a 3-mile maiden hurdle at Limerick. I saw you popped up online. Fair play.
12 to 1, yeah. No, it was coming though. You could see this one coming. I'd fancied him a couple of weeks ago and he was just a bit one-paced, outpaced, and he stayed on to the line. Tour never got any nearer to him. So, stepping up the 3 miles, I thought he looked like a decent bet today, and he duly obliged. But it's been hasn't been a bad few weeks now.
Yeah, you're doing well for yourself, and unlike me, I could, as I said every week, I could stop time. Some of the way
I even got a couple of winners at the quarter of the weekend.
Yeah, that horse was Promontory, was it? The first winner for for first winner for a trainer, or for his trainer as well. Yes, Sarah Connell. Yeah, a few winners at the Curragh. You're doing even better than me, and I think we were both out to look at Leopardstown. We went up to Leopardstown. We were probably only 2 people up there on Sunday, which was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, we were the attendance.
We literally were, yeah. There was probably more jockeys than there was people up there, which is bitterly disappointing. But maybe
you wouldn't even know it's on.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're not even bothered to advertise it anymore. It's just only advertised the DRF. She's not even getting the crowd for Irish Champions weekend. It's
dire straits.
It's one of the world's premier race courses, not just Ireland's premier race courses.
There's no fairer course or nicer course. Leopardstown, the sun is gorgeous.
Yeah, the Irish Champion Stakes are on there consistently. I'd say in the top 5 races in the world every year. I know you don't get as many people going flat racing, but the jumps meeting in March was very similar to the weekend.
Yeah,
and that's a week and a bit before Cheltenham. You think people would be getting the bug, but sure, you wouldn't know it's on. They had the newly named Dublin National. You could have, you could have advertised that, built that up a bit, but nothing. It's a race course that's been in decline for me. I know the Brits are raving about it when they come over, but
they pull out all the stops, though. Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
No, it wouldn't be laying a glove on Punchestown now or Ferryhouse.
Yeah, and the way I kind of seen it as well. If you're a racing fan, if you were a genuine racing fan, you would have had the likes of Terima, who's Tarnowa's half sister, winning impressively. You could have given her a pat on the nose after she won a race. There was literally no one there. She was sitting over the winners enclosure. Same with Henri Matisse and Delacruz Swelter. Some top class horses, and I know horses are top class horses on the flat are different to obviously in the jumps, but Jenny Mac, they're not making an effort. I don't know if people don't know about it. I understand that the casual fan would prefer jumps racing. I totally understand that. Yeah. But there's still no excuse really.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can, I always think the flat meetings there should be, particularly when they're on the weekend, the likes of the Ballysacks, the Derrinstown, they should be family days. But there was a good opportunity with Mother's Day there as well. But I always think they should be family days. €20 for 2 adults, 2 kids. Get some bouncy castles, coffee shops, or a couple of food stands, face painting. Get people there, advertise it, and you get people through the gate, and they might come back.
They might come back. That's it.
The kids might get the bug, but the place has been dead now for a few years. Something about it, you go to Punchestown or Ferryhouse or Naas, you know the faces there and they know you. Never get that feeling at Leopardstown, and I'm a member at Leopardstown as you are, And,
Yeah. I remember being,
and it's the only race course in Dublin. We go all the time, and you just never get that welcoming feeling about the place anymore. So,
well, the gents
yeah,
upstairs actually are nice guys, but they're not really. They're
yeah,
obviously they're doing their job. They're just being nice guys, but like,
yeah,
but
they are nice guys. But we do that barman that doesn't seem to work out anymore.
yeah. So they maybe they don't treat their proper staff. I don't know. But it is a pity because, as you said, like there's no real excuse for it. Maybe they're cushy with the TV money. Maybe they don't want to pay staff. Maybe they don't think it's worth it. I don't know what it is, but they put a lot of money into doing up Leopardstown, and aesthetically, it's a pretty course. It's just missing the people, and as I said, it's the only course in Dublin. There's no excuse for it. It's not as if it's difficult to get to. I don't know.
It's beautiful when you look down the straight and on a sunny day and you can see the Poolbeg chimneys, and you feel a bit proud to have this race course in your home city. And it's just been in decline to me. Like, how long was it? I was gone missing trying to get a bet on the toe for ages. Couldn't find one open. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. Very hard to get a sandwich or a cup of coffee, even. It
was the same for me after one of the myself and herself went to watch one of the races out in the stand, and she wanted to have a bet on the tote, and it was similar. We ended up having a bet down in the ring. Like, I don't think I've ever put $250 each way on a horse in the ring, but I had to swallow my pride because she didn't want to do it, so I did it for her. And my point was frosty when it came back, as you said. It's getting all crusty.
It grew a crust in the sun.
It was that long looking for a tote machine. But anyway, look, enough scorning Leopardstown. Hopefully they can sort it out. I'll be up there for watching, I don't know, Chase and Abbey or Ham Sandwich or something play after a race, and I'll be up there one of those Thursdays and hopefully.
You'll have to let me know when it's on, because they won't be letting me know when it's on. You find out, let me know, will you?
Yeah, anyone in the comments can let us know when Leopardstown's on, please. Thank you. Despite us living basically next door to the place. Right, Dec, let's get started because it's a busy show. We've got a good, nice industry card from Naas. I have some fancies on it. I'm sure you do too. And as I said, we're going to run through our fancies for the week at Aintree, which includes a Trixie, or maybe it's more a Bolivian at this stage, isn't it? For the 3 races over the national fences, the Hunters, the Topham and the Grand National. But starting with the 125, the Pat O'Hare Bookmakers Maiden Hurdle over 2 miles. Probably not much to shout home about here, Dec, especially as I can finally say Maidens at this time of year, they're kind of in one ear and out the other, aren't they, really? Unless you're looking for maybe summer handicappers, which I'm sure we will be. But something still has to win it, Dec. So who did you come down on?
I came down on Los Blancos here. He was third in his hurdles debut. He was behind Honest Policy. Honest Policy was second, and he's followed up twice, and he probably sets the standard here. But there is a couple more interesting ones in Carla Sacra. He was a 5-year-old point-to-point winner, but the form hasn't worked out. He's still only 5 a year younger than Los Blancos. Soft Man was a well-held second at Navan, but Crack was behind in third, and could be a decent yardstick, Crack. Like, he's been beaten by decent horses, I think, during the winter. Soft Man was rated 94 on the flat. Then one very interesting one is Lips Freedom. He was a listed winner on the flat in Italy, in Murano, where they do their jumping. He was 5th off 98 in the Premier Handicap at Leopardstown. But I do just feel that Los Blancos sets the standard here with that form behind Honest Policy. And I can't remember the horse who actually won that race.
Joystick.
Joystick.
Joystick, yeah, the infamous Joystick.
Yeah.
We ended up, I tipped for the Nathaniel Lacey. I think he's still running.
Yeah. Well, he was second to Jacob Seller at Naas the last day. But look, Los Blancos should be going and winning this. Yeah,
I would agree. Not for the top material. It's a gun to my head selection, really. But no, I completely echo what you said though about Lips Freedom. Interesting, 5-year-old son of Free Eagle. Look, he wasn't unsupported. Like, they obviously got him in October, probably at the Horses in Training sale, and he wasn't unfancied. He did drift nearly off. He ran quite well off a mark of 98, which I thought was a bit on the high side. I know he won a listed race, as you said, but listed race in Italy, like, yeah, come on, it's not usually it's not a listed race in Ireland or England, put it that way.
No.
But he ran that day to kind of showed that he was at least a mid-90s horse. Obviously he didn't back it up in a listed race at the Curragh on his next start towards the end of last year, but he's definitely a nice enough horse, and if he can jump, he should be able to put it up to the market protagonist. It'd be interesting to see how he is priced up. He is one.
Do you know what? Sorry to cut across, Andy. I actually know John who owns the horse.
Right. Okay.
He has a horse in he has a horse in Ross's. So
okay,
I'm gonna text him, right?
See if he gets back to us by the end of the show. Tell him we're currently recording, and we'll. What's the chances of lips freedom?
I text him now. Sorry, go on. You continue while I'm writing.
No, that's basically it. I was just kind of rambling. I just said he's one of the most interesting runners on the card, actually, in my opinion, given his flat exploits. And I do hope he runs well. It would be Los Blanco for myself with a gun to my head. It won't be one I'll be getting too heavily involved in. While you're finishing off your text there, Dec, I'm going to introduce Division 2 of this race. Pat O'Hare getting a bit of money for bang for his buck here. Hopefully he gets it back in whatever bets he can bring in on the course on Thursday. Right, the Division 2 of this maiden hurdle, Dec, it's more the same. It's again very much nothing to write home about. Again, it's probably a gun to my head selection. There's a few in here that you could give a chance to. Obviously, Black Heather makes his hurdling debut. His third behind Win Beneath with My Wings, following a Ballinroe bumper win, is decent enough form. He was highly enough tried in bumpers like that. Win Beneath My Wings race at Listowel was a winner's race. The race he ran in next time out on virtually unraceable ground behind I'll Sort That was also a winner's race. He now makes his hurdling debut. I would have probably given a chance though to Net Boy of Barry Connell. Sean Flanagan takes over from Paddy Hanlon. He was travelling well enough when falling behind Salisbury Hill at Leopardstown. He was snatched up on heels a bit after the second last. He probably jumped that second last a little bit too well. I'm not sure the plan was to maybe win that day. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, he wasn't given the hardest of times, but I think they were in a cluster coming down to the last hurdle, and he wasn't. I have a feeling it was just a novice error. He just didn't quite see it. Caught him out. Paddy Hanlon did everything he could to stay on, but just couldn't quite do it. As I said, Sean Flanagan takes over. That would make me think he's probably fancied here. Harbour Highway was a massive eye catcher in that Leopardstown race. I'm not sure if the horse got banned for that or not, but big long stewards inquiry after that one. Or big long ride up after that one. But it would be Net Boy for me, Dec. I think he's got a great chance here in a very weak maiden. Who do you like?
Yeah, but just before I start, I'm just hearing that lips freedom is useless. So.
Oh no. And here's us talking him up. He's useless. He must have ran all right though, like to be in the mid. He ran it basically to the mid 90s. He must
jump like a Stegosaurus.
Useless, Jesus. Poor Lips Freedom. Well, there you go. Place lay Lips Freedom. Yeah. You heard it here first.
Yeah, look, I like Net Boy as well. He wasn't done with the last day at Leopardstown when he unseated, and he did run okay on his first bumper run. The other one that caught my eye a little bit was Yolita. He was well beaten a decent maiden now, but it was behind Card Counter, and there's a couple of other good horses in there. Maybe he didn't stay. It was 2 mile 3. Maybe coming back to 2 mile could put him into the picture in a weaker maiden, because Card Counter's obviously gone on and won twice. Yeah, like looking like a really nice horse now. He's one to be excited about next year going chasing. But maybe coming back to 2 miles in a maiden like this might be more Yolita's thing. But yeah, I'd have it between the two of them. I'd probably be siding with Net Boy. Okay,
yeah, be Net Boy for myself as well. I'd be more confident in Net Boy than I would be on the one in the first, the Rob Core horse. But yeah, I suppose is that maybe a next best of the tap? I don't know. Right, 2:35 then, Dec, is another maiden hurdle, and guess what? It's a mare's maiden hurdle. It wouldn't be a midweek tap without a mare's maiden hurdle. Again, it's kind of the same cut here. Something has to win. The one that I gave a chance to was trying to find it now was Mile End. Was running in sprint races on the flat, believe it or not, and running okay. And won over a mile at Leopardstown last October. I thought the form behind Beaufort Storm, albeit Beaufort Storm wasn't really extended, she won quite easily, but she hasn't done a whole lot to kind of knock the form, in my opinion. Obviously, she's gone up in grade. She's finished third in, I think it's listed, her grade 3 company at Ferryhouse, behind Aurora Vega. In the context of this race, like, in my opinion, if she stayed, she'd be very hard to beat. She's no guaranteed to stay this 2 miles. It was kind of hard to know if she did or not last time out, but if she does stay this 2 miles, I think she's the one they all have to beat. But who do you like, Dec?
Yeah, I do like her. Like, she chased on Beaufort Storm, and you know, she was beaten short head in a listed race by Cotton Slow Sunshine of Joseph O'Brien's.
Yeah, that was the form
for the mayor's handicap at the DRF. She's only a 5-year-old. I'm struggling to split too, Andy, to be honest. The other one's Mabel Atoy. She was a bumper winner, beaten Working on a Dream, who's won over hurdles. And she's been behind decent enough horses in maiden hurdles. So I do feel like she might be the safer option. Mabel Atoy.
Stable debut for her as well, isn't it? She former Thomas Kiley mare, so now with Henry de Bromhead, which is interesting.
But yeah, look, I do see where you're coming from with Mile End. It was the two of them that I had on the short list.
Yeah, well, look, to get me to back an expert eye over hurdles that I've stamina doubts about, yeah, you've got another thing coming. There's bigger fish to fry this week. So if you think Mabel Etoile is the safer option, that's fair enough. I'd be probably recommending people to go with you there instead of my selection on Mile End. Again, a bit of a tentative one, but that's where the tentative selecting stops, because we got through the maidens. The 310 is the Column White bookmakers rated novice hurdle. Column has swooped in and sponsored probably the best race on the card, while Pat O'Hare gets the maiden hurdles. So good for you, Column. 8 runners. Now the problem with this one is, do these all? I've said bigger fish to fry. I need to stop saying that, but like a lot of these probably have handicaps at the Punchestown Festival in mind, just looking at their profiles. So I think the objective here, Dec, is to trying to find which one wants to win this race. So do you have an opinion?
Yeah, well, I came down on Positive Energy, and for Mick O'Callaghan, but it's a bit odd now to be buying a horse that ran on the flat for Willie McCreary is going jumping for Mick O'Callaghan.
Yeah, and Positive Energy was one half of Mick's unbelievable double 33 days ago. I think he won a heavy ground maiden hurdle at Navan with this thing, and then won a 1 mile novice race, 1 mile novice stakes at Suttle on the all weather with Michael Schofield later on in the evening. So he's a trainer that can do it all. So,
yeah, he is.
One of my favorite trainers, actually.
Yeah, your uncle, isn't he?
Apparently, him and Uncle Chris.
Yeah. Look, 4-year-old gets the allowances here. As you said, was a winner on hurdles debut. The third was actually second today behind Ephesus. Yeah, look, probably going to be off. The Shuffle the Deck is in here, carrying 12 stone, point-to-point winner, pulled up in the Lawlers. Beat Eastern Legend and Bowen's Fire, who've both won since in his maiden hurdle. Like, definitely sets the standard. It's just that was a bad L run in the Lawlers. Now that was desperate, wasn't it?
Yeah, he didn't go gallop, like he didn't. Like,
no,
he was beat after 2 hurdles.
Yeah, and the market kind of told you that. The other one I would give a chance to here would be Action Plan. I thought I like that early juvenile form now. Solar Drive probably let it down in the Fred Winter, although he was going well for a long way, and maybe just bit off a bit more than you could chew, trying to take a field like that along. And there was just a target on his back, but he might have finished dead last. Oh yeah, I'd gone for the point by the time he crossed the line anyway. But no, look, Positive Energy for me. I'd say he's nice enough.
Yeah, he's a definite here and now horse, isn't he? I've obviously gone and win a maiden hurdle. I wouldn't imagine Handicap's on his agenda. He's only had one run over hurdles. I wouldn't be throwing him into a handicap at this stage of his career, even with his flat experience. Likely against older horses. It's a good stepping stone. 33 days ago was his last run. The form wasn't necessarily knocked. It wasn't overly enhanced either today, as you said, on Tuesday at Limerick. But it's the fact that other horses, like, I don't think Action Plan's going to be good enough personally. Adelia Icon, look, any horse that can only scrape home against Whimsy by half a length in this grade just wouldn't be for me. I don't know how many opportunities Whimsy has had to win a race over hurdles at this stage. I think he's like, I think he might have won one at Gowran eventually, but like, he's a very much a nearly horse, and wouldn't be a horse that I'd be using as a form line. Looking through the others, Sunny May, winning run came to an end when last seen about 3 months ago. Rocky Mountain Blue, this is just going to be a warning to Philip when I see this horse over an intermediate trip at the Punchestown Festival. Just get on early, please, Philip. Don't get disappointed that we take your price again. I am going. This is already my nap at Punchestown when I see him over 2.5 or 3 miles in a handicap. 123 scandalously underrates him, in my opinion, at intermediate trips. And the only time we've seen him at an intermediate trip was when he beat Sounds Victorious at Punchestown on good ground in November time. So that the trip rules him out in this race for me. Cashadale Lad, really poor run last time out. I'm finding it hard to ignore that run behind James's Gate. Weakened very, very quickly, despite a good start to life over hurdles in Ireland. When winning at Gowran, then we've already covered Shuffle the Deck. So yeah, a process of elimination bet. There's a lot of agreeing going on. Oh my god, would be positive energy, but he's definitely the one that I'd want to be with here, because I think he's one of the few that are actually going to want to win this race, to be brutally honest with you.
Are we going to go through the card?
We might go through the card. I think it's going to stop in the next few races, because there's one that I am absolutely mad on that I don't think he even made your shortlist.
No.
In a race or two's time. So we're not going to quite go through the card, but the 345, we might have a similar opinion here. I don't know. I actually didn't ask you who you fancied. To be honest, I fancy a 10-year-old mare in this race. So there's absolutely no way we're going to be on the same one here. So the 345 deck is the Franco Hughes Bookmakers Handicap Hurdle. It's not 100. Who do you fancy?
There's two I like. Real Empire. He made his handicap debut the last day. It was back in February off a break, and he was a no-show over 2.5 miles. He was definitely a bit of an eye catcher in Maidens, and I think with that run under his belt now, 2 miles is probably more his thing. I think we're going to see massive improvement.
Right.
And I think Jack Hanlon might be in a bit of form as well, getting ready for Ewick to run on Saturday. And then the other one is Marie's March. She was pulled up on her handicap debut, but she was much better next time out here, keeping on into third. Same trainer as, what's the name of the horse? The Promontory.
Yeah, Sarah Connell, yeah.
Sarah Connell, yeah. Look, I'd have it between them two. But there's one just to keep an eye on here. Mrs. Boymus. She became detached on her last run. It was a handicap. No, sorry, not her last run. I think it might be had a run on the flat since. But that was on her handicap debut. But in the report afterwards, the jockey said she never felt empty, and she came up big and probably too early came out of his hands at the last and fell. But she might just have needed that run to a bit of experience. She might have known what was going on in that race. And I'd say the next day now you could see massive improvement in her of hurdles. She might just take this one as well. But I'd be keeping her on side going forward. But for Thursday, I'd have it between Real Empire and Marie's March. I am struggling to split them. I'd probably maybe side with Real Empire if you force me to choose one.
Real Empire, okay. Yeah, Miss Wymies, as I said there, for cheap pieces go on first time for her, so interesting enough there. The one I came down on, I knew that we were going to start splitting up here, because the chances of you tipping a 10-year-old mare were slim to none. Is Go Gil Go, or maybe Go Jill Go. Probably Go Jill Go if it's a mare. Look, this is a pretty speculative bet. All her best form tends to be at Clonmel, but her peak form when you go back through it is on decent ground. And the last time she had a bit of decent ground, she was third, beating 5 lengths of Tipperary off 90 behind Jack Holiday. I think it was an old friend of you, maybe Jack Holiday. Can I quite remember? Maybe not. That was April 2023 was the last time she ran on decent ground. So she hasn't probably came down to handicap enough. She is in here off 84, but she has shown a tendency to go well on decent ground. And if you have a 10-year-old mare still in training, like obviously she's probably only a pet, and you know, probably part of the furniture in the yard, but I think she has a chance off 84. She's been, I don't know if it's fair to say, relatively consistent. Like, she's been placed a number of times, but anytime she has been placed, she has been beaten quite far. But like, in fairness to her, you know, she has been placed 4 times since October 2023. Out of what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if placed 4 times out of 7 runs since then, it's not bad going for this level. So like, she's shown that she retains some sort of ability and now returns to decent ground. £6 lower than that placed effort that I was referencing at Tipperary in April of 2023. So yeah, it is a bit speculative, but I think you're going to be compensated with a pretty big price. So I'll have a little each way bet on Go Jill Go for the return to decent ground. Hopefully the weather does hold up a nice, but we haven't had any rain in the best part of a week and a half. So a bit of luck, we will be on like decent enough ground. The 420 deck is the Mulvaney Bookmakers Handicap Hurdle. It's over 2 miles and just shy of 3 furlongs. This is going to be my strongest bet on the card. I'll get to it in just a moment, but for now, Dec, we've got 20 runners, 2 reserves. Who's your fancy?
We're really struggling with this one, but I just thought it was interesting that Queenie St. Clair is in here, having been beaten 27 lengths in the Dawn Run at Cheltenham, and then dropping into this. She was 5th behind Kids Buell in the Red Mills as well. So she's been highly tried, and it's not often you see a horse coming back from grade 2 level into a race like this. But we just don't know how good she is. We don't know how good that Dawn Run was either.
Don't remind me of the Dawn Run.
It could well be an abysmal race. We just don't know yet. All Right Darling, she was well held for second handicap at Leopardstown, but dropped £2, might improve. And then Syracuse, he was brought down as handicap debut. The maiden form's behind decent enough horses. 106 could be tough though. I'd be struggling to have a bet in this race now, but I do think Queenie St. Clair is probably of the most interest dropping down into this grade.
Fair enough. Queenie St. Clair for Dec. Wouldn't put you off her. Absolutely not. I do think that whenever I see a fast company, I do want to see like as ground as testing as it can get. But no, you're dead right. Like, getting beaten 27 lengths in the Dawn Run and then reverting to a handicap off 103, like, you would have thought she'd have to have a chance. Washington Parks was an interesting enough one for Tiernan Power Roach. Just before I get onto the one I really fancy, weakened quite late at Thurles on decent ground. Takes a slight drop in trip here of a furlong and change, and is very, very lightly raced. So like, he would have to have a chance. But the one I really fancy is In for the Night, is Desmond McDonough for JP McManus. Aidan Kelly rides and takes off £5. Look, it's not really a theory. I think it's probably the wrong word, because this horse quite clearly needs decent ground. Last time it ran on decent ground, it was beaten 4 3/4 lengths by Farmers Lodge at Ferryhouse. Now, for context, Farmers Lodge went and won again. I think he won at Punchestown. Hasn't been seen since. He's now subsequently rated 135. The horse I really fancied in that race that day was Tunganeve Well, who was 3rd. Very, very consistent horse for Gavin Cromwell. I don't think it's been seen since that race, but before that was half a length second to Allman Dingle, and probably should have won at Navan on his next start behind Clarence. So I thought that was really strong form, that Ferryhouse race. In for the Night was second. He subsequently had 2 runs on soft ground both times. 10th well beaten again by Farmers Lodge, went only 11-2, and then pulled up behind Western Sunrise. But the return to decent ground is kind of what we want to see here, and that's hopefully what the doctor ordered. As I said, Aidan Kelly taking off 5 pounds, drops in grade. Based on that Farmers Lodge run, this horse is chucked in my opinion, in this grade. And if the ground is decent, it will just win. End of story. And you can probably pop it in your multis with your horses at Aintree. So that's my personal nap on the card, on the nice card. In for the Night, assuming there's no funny business going on, and the ground is decent, I'd be bitterly disappointed if this horse was beat. So In for the Night, and then Dec was Queenie Sinclair. Right, so on to the 4:55, the Sean Graham Bookmakers Handicap Hurdle, another not to 100, 2 miles 7. Dec, I couldn't make head nor tail of this race, so I'm going to need you to bail me out, and you're going to have to probably bail me out for the bumper as well, unfortunately. We've got 20 runners. I struggled here. Who do you like?
Yeah, there's a few with a chance in here, but there's 2 I really, really like. Master of the Seas, actually put Master of the Seas up at we were at Cheltenham for
Master of the Seas. Was he not the Master of the Suns? Master of the Seas, I think, was Charlie Appleby horse back in the day.
Yeah, placed in the Guineas, was he?
Placed in the Guineas, yeah. Very nice horse, actually, yeah. And they gelded him, so there's nearly a war crime for gelding him, but anyway.
Master of the Suns, yeah. He's left on the same mark, but he's up in trip, and this is his second handicap run, so I think he's definitely going to improve. And Butcher's Bill, he was running on 4th in his handicap debut. He's an obvious contender stepping up to 3 miles. I struggle to see the winner not coming from these 2 now.
Right.
Yeah, I think the 2 of these be bang there. But I don't know. Jeez, I'd probably side with Butcher's Bill.
Butcher's Bill.
It'll be between the 2 of them.
Butcher's Bill. It's rare you see a Jigginstown horse rated under 100.
Yeah.
Jenny Mac, yeah.
There
you go, yeah, it is rare, as I said. Right, Butcher's Bill with the cheap pieces. Jane Smith taking off 5 pounds. The selection there for Dec in the 4:55, and then the concluding bumper is it's the Irish Stallion Farms EBF auction. So no bookmaker wanted to sponsor the bumper.
You're probably not allowed. It's probably
no. I think it's an Irish. Yeah, you're probably not. You can't call it get out of
sponsor the Maidens because they don't normally have sponsors either.
Yeah. Well, look, fair play to all the bookmakers for getting involved.
And it's free in.
And it's free in.
They're covering the gate, yeah.
Legends. Right. So I would imagine the favourite for this race, assuming how well he was backed on his debut, and I think he was brought down, which is a little bit unlucky. He ran quite well in his next start, was If All Goes Well for Charles Burns in the infamous sea light colours, if you remember him from about 10 or 12 years ago. I think he did a double up at Leopardstown at Christmas time. But he's probably not the one you're going to talk about. Dec, who do you fancy?
No, look, he was, second though, was probably a nice horse back in December, now to be fair to him, but look, keep cool Coco, a 5-year-old with hurdling experience, placed on his last 2 hurdle runs. He's of obvious interest to us coming back into bumpers, and like we talked about it many times about how they just toughen up and they do a bit of ground up and they go over hurdles, and they can be very hard to beat down dropping back into bumpers. But
yeah,
I think Paul Nolan could have a nice one here. The mare, 2 pair. She was 6 behind Bambino Fever at Punchestown. The form's working out well enough. I think Joshua Delam, he was 5th in that one since. Champagne Venture absolutely bumped into one at Gowran on Red Mills Day, and I can't think of the others who were in there, but I think Paul Nolan could have a nice mare on his hands here than 2 pair, and she'd probably, I would be definitely concerned about Keep Cool Coco with that hurdling experience. But as I said to you beforehand, the Sire is 0 from Tourdain at the track, and 2 pairs probably my strongest selection on the card.
This is all right. 2 pair for Dec. Hoping to conclude the card in fine style. There's a nice, strongest selection. There's your winner. The final 2 races. They'll get you out of trouble at Aintree. 2 of the last 3 races actually. One was the 420, wasn't it? So 2 pair for Dec. And that's not Diamond. That's a Diamond Boy, isn't it? You were talking about the sire was which sire was that again?
Diamond Boy has a really good record at I didn't even. I just know that from earlier on in the season when I looked it up. I didn't even realise she was by Diamond Boy. So I'm going to have more on now.
Yeah, Cocorico, who we were talking offline, famous for producing grade 2 horses. Cocoa Beach, Kitzbühel, Indiana Dream, Iroko, XLLO, Cara Allen, 5 o'clock, Fakira, Iberico, Lord. All of these horses were probably like, Antico's fancy for grade 1s. But you wouldn't mind owning one.
Yeah.
For 15k a pop top.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah,
it's pricey enough, but the French know how to charge. Right, so we'll move on then, Dec, to what people probably want to hear, our Aintree preview, even though we've probably all made them a fortune at least. What way would you like to do this? Would you like to do our national our national course selections first, or do you want to go through the Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
We'll run through Thursday first, and then we'll do our national fence trixie, and then we will give our national double.
Right, I'm just gonna do a little.
You aren't asking for much.
No, you aren't asking for much. You're just sitting here. We're spending our whole Tuesday afternoon, or Tuesday afternoon, which I've been talking like I'm unemployed. Tuesday evening here for you. I know, I love it though. It's a lot of fun. Right, Dec, let's go straight in. The manifesto to start. I'm just going to put in Aintree Thursday. I'm not going to be writing all the... I don't love you guys that much. I'm not going to write all the race names. Right, Dec, Aintree, the manifesto, 2 mile 4. We got a field of 9 headed by the Poxed Arkle winner, Django Boy. That's probably unfair. Like, he was obviously showed a great attitude to go and win it. But you could probably run that Arkle 20 times, and I don't think Django Boy would even be placing it. But again, we already said it. Brilliant that the Marsh or the Juice or whatever it's called isn't there anymore. Else, collections would have left an Arkle behind on this given day. So he sets the standard, sets the bet in a 9 to 4. But I'd imagine you're going to be going to a certain stadium in Dublin, are you?
Yeah, well, anyone who's listened to this show this season knows what I think about Croke Park, and they've skipped Cheltenham. This is his trip. He's a 2-time grade 1 winner. He was only found Ballybourne too good in the PJ Moriarty when Ballybourne was very, very good. He'd Imperial pass 5 or 6 lengths behind. I think he goes and wins. He's a very underrated horse. I'd wonder, could he win this and then go to the Novice Gold Cup at Fairyhouse and win that? I thought that would be the race for him, but look, it doesn't matter whichever one he's going to win.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think Croke Park takes all the beating here. And I've been late to the party here. You've been on him all season, and you got well compensated for being on him all season. But like, even at the price he's at now, 100 to 30, the Cheltenham Aintree turnaround is not very it's not very kind to horses like Django Boy or horses that be backing up quite quickly, and for that reason, as much as I love Django Boy, I think he's a smashing horse, and I think he could win a King George next season. But you're asking an awful lot for a horse to come from a grueling Arkle to this manifesto in just over 3 weeks of prep, in comparison to a horse like Croke Park. That's, the trainer said he was skipping Cheltenham. They resisted the temptation. They're coming straight here, and people might knock the second to Ballybourne because of what Ballybourne did at Cheltenham, but I have a sneaky suspicion. I don't think the ground was as quick at Leopardstown as people made it out to be that day, and I have a sneaky suspicion Ballybourne needs soft ground. So
he needs to lift his head.
Yeah, he needs to lift his head possibly as well. But I think Croke Park, it takes some serious beating here in the manifesto, and I'd be fully with you on that one. You finally convinced me. It's only taken till April, Dec, but you've got there. Right, we'll move on real quickly. The finale, or not the finale here, I'm thinking of Chepstow. the Boodles Anniversary Juvenile Hurdle for 4-year-olds. So Lulamba caused absolute mayhem this morning with everyone hovering over the declarations, watching their anti-pulse bets possibly go down to Swanee. I don't know if anybody did take the short prices. But anyway, he's caused mayhem. Your new favourite is the Boodles winner. You put your hands together. Very, very easy winner of that race. Now rated 143, 5-2. Wouldn't be for me, Dec, for similar reasons. Quick turnaround. I like Live Conti for Dan Skelton. Had form, I think, with... I think you could trace his form back to Lulamba in France through the second, I think, Larzac, possibly. Or maybe a different horse. I have to double check that. Maybe it's Crown de Berlay. But anyway, long story short, I think he'd have to have a right chance here. Again, they've skipped Cheltenham, and they're coming here. He's around 3-1 shot. But who do you fancy?
I really like naturally nimble here. Right. He won the Grade 3 at Ferryhouse on Hatton's Grace weekend when they just couldn't stop him. I don't think it was part of the plan. He was fourth at Christmas. He's coming here fresh. Like you, I'd be avoiding anything to have a hard race at Cheltenham. I think the ground was fast. A lot of them could be jarred up, and it's only 3-week turnaround. So I'd be confident enough now about Naturally Nimble.
Naturally Nimble in the 4-year-old for Dec there. The 255, one of the races of the week, which I can't believe I'm saying that. I thought the ball was going to be coughing up blood given how close it was to the Gold Cup and lack of depth in the stage chase division, but it's actually turned out to be a brilliant race. The Golden Miller. Do we have
Calvin Deschamps to thank for that?
We possibly do, and we always said on this podcast, never be afraid of one horse, and Gavin Cromwell wasn't, and he was rewarded, and you would nearly wonder if the likes, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but you know, Embassy Gardens returning to, you know, he's obviously been trained to the minute for this. He might need softer ground though. I suppose he probably wants a deluge to have a real chance, as does Gaelic Warrior. He's a total mudlark, and look, they've run him over his proper trip now, but he needs soft ground. And then Spallan's Tower, who obviously I'm going to be backing, like there isn't, like, he's better than a Grey Dawning 8 days a week in my opinion. He's the best horse in this race. My only worry for Spallan's Tower is any horse that has came from the King George this season, and that kind of, you know, I wouldn't even say ran the race, maybe finished in the top 5 or 6. Like Banbridge was beaten a long way out in the Gold Cup. Ile Francais was well beaten in the Ryanair. The Hon Press obviously may have had an issue, but was pulled up and beaten in the Ascot Chase and is out for the rest of the season, I'm pretty sure. Real Whacker ran okay in the Gold Cup, probably ran to expectations. Then Spallan's Tower was 5th. Corbett's Cross, okay, in fairness, ran well for a long way in the Gold Cup, and then unfortunately what happened. But I'm very worried that he might have had a hard race in the King George. But if he takes the travelling and he's taking the King George in a stride, I really think he has a favourite's chance here, based on his Durkin run. But who do you fancy, Dec?
Yeah, it's Spallan's Tower as well. I don't think he'd as hard a race as he would have liked to have having in the King George now.
Yeah.
He probably never let down, and he just, I'd say it was just too quick for him. We seen it with others during the couple of days as well, and look, you picked him out as a future Gold Cup horse when he won his maiden hurdle at Naas, I think.
Yeah,
and look, you've been bang on the money with him, and it would be great to see Jimmy Mangan have a winner, and I hope he does win it, and I do think he's the one to beat in the race, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that it's not too quick from the lashing on the water, but I think Aintree decent ground and Kempton decent ground is probably a different kettle of fish.
Don't let this get overly quick.
Yeah,
I agree. As I said before, I think if Leopardstown had let the ground be as fast as Kempton did at Christmas, Willie would have gone to town on them. He would have really put the squeeze on them and bullied them. But he
would have been like us at the start of the show.
Yeah. he's too polite to do that to Kempton when it's in a different jurisdiction. But I'd say it was rattling fast there. Aintree can't let it get that fast.
Yeah.
Cheltenham probably took a chance, but Aintree just they can't let it, particularly the national course. Like it's never going to be fast.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Yeah, Spillane Tower for both of us, but I would fancy Croke Park more on the day. But I will be back in Spillane Tower, don't get me wrong. And there'd be nobody shouting him home outside of his actual connections more than me. Right, so the next race deck is the Aintree Hurdle that due off a 1/3. This is the rematch of Constitution Hill and Lossiemouth, just over the 2.5 mile distance this time. The difference being, other than the trip, Constitution Hill snotted himself in the champion hurdle and Lossiemouth had a piece of work. They are joined by the impressive Martin Pipe winner, Woodhoo, who I don't think Gordon Elliott's got enough credit for how well he's campaigned that mare. Still unbeaten over hurdles. Obviously on a technicality with the stewards room, but still unbeaten over hurdles. And then the field is rounded out with Salver, Tell Her the Name, Break My Soul, and Take No Chances. A quality renewal. Pity we don't have brighter days ahead, but I guess it is what it is. Who do you like, Dec?
I've no interest in backing the top two, and it does look like a match.
Yeah.
But I won't be afraid to have a very small bet on something else to hopefully hit the frame. Like, as we've seen at Cheltenham, Constitution Hill fell, if one of them falls, there's a place to be picked up there. Lossiemouth fell at Leopardstown. Neither of them are bomb-proof. And as you say, should never be afraid of one horse. In this case, should never be afraid of two, because I know the mares is like a piece of work for her, but like neither of them have had straightforward seasons. And I know that they look miles ahead of the field, but I wouldn't be completely surprised if neither of them won the race, because it's the quick turnaround as well, and you often get funny results at Aintree. Now look, I'm not saying going back someone, going back this, like, you know what I mean? But just don't be overly surprised if they are beaten. And I would be tempted to have a couple of euro and Break My Soul, who, she ran an absolute cracker in the Red Mills trial. She was buying Kids Bill. Ian's won the, friend of the show. He's been in great form. He's having a great season. He's had a winner at Cheltenham earlier on in the season. He won the Ulster National with Dunboyne. He got Dunboyne to win twice in a row. Like, he's definitely a trainer on the up, and I just wouldn't be surprised to see this mare run a big race. Whether she's going to be good enough or get the look she needs to finish in the top two, I don't know, but I can see her running a cracking race.
Yeah. It's a pity we don't have Kit Spill. I assume he's Liverpool hurdle bound on Saturday. Yeah. They're going for the staying option. Okay. Yeah, look, I wouldn't put you off backing an outsider here. Like, you made a case. For the Thursday anyway, I'm going to be best avoiding that Cheltenham form. And this is a race I'm not going to have a bet in. But if you want to have a bet on Break My Soul, any exchange players, you should definitely look in the 3 place market. If she's 50-1 with the 7 runners, you'll get a nice price on the exchanges for 3 places. So do have a look there. But an interesting way into the race there, Dec. The 405. Do you want to come back to the Hunters before we?
Yeah, we come back to it.
We'll come back to the Hunters. So we'll go to the 440, which is the Red Rum. Nothing better than one of the most famous horses that's ever, walked the turf of Aintree. You go and name a 2 mile handicap chase after him, even though he won the national.
He won a 5 furlong sprint here as well.
He did. You could run a race in any. Could have ran a race over any distance at Aintree, and Red Rum would have given it a good crack. I don't think he ever won anywhere else. Maybe our old timers.
He won at Newcastle.
He won at Newcastle. Okay. I might actually search that up. I'm sure someone will say it in the comments. Right, the 440 then, Dec, the Red Rum. I haven't got a massive opinion really here, to be honest with you. Do you have one that you like? Yeah,
really like the Fox Tiara, 9-year-old. Been right in the mix at Leopardstown. He's beaten a short head by Ampion Jarek. He that was off 131. He is off 138 here. Probably not bad now.
It wouldn't be too bad.
He's getting, like, the way the handicapper's going about things at home now, he's getting 4, 5, 6 for that at home. So, like, what, he might have only got £2 tax. I actually don't know what he's rated at home. Do you know? Can you see it there?
The Folks Tiara. Give me 2 seconds, Dec. I'll find out here.
Yeah, look, he beat the King of PRs in the listed handicap at Fairy House. at Ferryhouse in November. He's continued that form, good form to be just touched off by Pierre and Jarek. He just seems like the horse for these races this season, in my opinion. And I think he's gonna give it a good go. He's not gonna be far away.
Right, nice one. 135 in Ireland Dec, so £3 tax. Which is not that bad. So the folks Tiara in the red rum, and then anything for the grade 2 bumper. I see Strong Leader's half sister in here. Strong Run. She looked like she needed every single yard of the trip at Warwick, and the fact that she's 6-1, I think she is a bit defined on the form book. As much as I'm a big fan of that big jet black dopey stayer, Strong Leader. Don't think his sister will be winning the Aintree Bumper, despite Fergal's record at the bumpers at Aintree is decent. Anything for the bumper Dec? We Paddy Toomey's maybe it was Sholin.
I don't Sholin. I don't know enough about her. I haven't looked at the race hard enough. And I'm not going to put up a selection advising people to back something where I haven't put in the work. So
understood. Right, well, we can move on really quickly to Friday. Again, we don't have declarations here, Dec, so I'm gonna kind of smash through these. If you have an opinion, just shout. But first race will be the Mile May novices over 3 mile 1. Codwell Potter, you're 4-1. Second favourite, Handstands looks like he's going to be the favourite in this. I don't think he was declared for the manifesto. No, he obviously wasn't. So he's 13-8. You've got Codwell Potter. Jordans is in there. Moiretown, the Ultima winner, in there. Keita Bourbon, probably wants softer ground. Stellar Story in there too. And then obviously Dancing City as well. The Sefton winner from last year, and he looked like a horse that just did not like Cheltenham, which was my suspicion about him going into the Broadway on the old course. I think he could be ludicrously overpriced at 8-1, and he's maybe one of the few horses that is coming from Cheltenham that I might take a chance on based on his price if he is declared. The 8-1 makes me think he's not going to be declared because it's a big old price. But if he was declared and he was around that price, he'd be the one that interests me. But was there anything for that race you like, Dec?
I haven't looked beyond Thursday.
Haven't looked beyond Thursday, no worries. No, that's fine. I haven't really, to be honest, either. I just thought that Mile May was kind of worth speaking about. The top novice hurdle was in there as well, but that's Romeo Coolio. I think he's even money for that. So we might jump a few selections up on Twitter going forward for Friday and Saturday. There's Thursday cards covered for you anyway. We'll bounce back to Thursday, Dec, real quickly then for the start of our multiples. So we're going to give you 2 horses, or 1 horse each, 2 horses in total, for maybe a little 25 cent, trixie, or maybe the odd trixie or doubles or trebles or whatever way you want to play, or whatever stake you want to put on. We'll start with the Hunters at 405, Dec. Who's your selection for the Hunters?
You're taking the. I think I'm on Milan Fort, aren't I?
If you want to take Lifetime Ambition, I'll take something else. I don't really mind.
No. I like the 2 of them. I was just forgot which way we were doing it. Milan Fort. Look, we've actually been all right now. I think anytime we've covered a Hunter chase this season, we might have put up the winner. And Milan Fort was one of them when he won at Clonmel. He's 100% in Hunter chases on the race course. So this is going to be his third race course run. And look, he's very backable price. I think he's going to have a good chance.
Yeah, I was nearly going to put up a bit of an outsider, but I am going to go with Lifetime Ambition because he was having the time of his life in the Grand National. What was it, 2 years ago, and he was wiped out at Valentine's by
such a good
loose one. He was jumping so well, and whatever angle they caught him getting unseat, like he was basically brought down. It went down, I think, as an unseat though. Like it was anything really but an unseat because he was T-boned by. I'm just going to look through the race again and see if I can pick out the horse. I think it was. I don't know. Maybe was it Sam Brown? Maybe I think it might have been Sam Brown. No, he fell too late or too early. Maybe it's the big breakaway. I don't know, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. He was T-boned. If you watch it back, like it was very unlucky. He's brought down by a loose horse. I think he's got a phenomenal chance for Pat Doyle. Rob James taking the ride. The one I was nearly going to put up was actually Groshus de Bam, who was ex-Joseph O'Brien. I think it's John O'Shea is the trainer. Won the race a good few years ago with cousin Pascal under James King. So he is a trainer that has won this race before with an outsider. But
he's held by my Drogo though, isn't he? Like he was.
You see, I'm not sure because the horse hung in the straight. I think the horse might have gave it away.
Where was that? So Kelso, was it?
That was Haydock.
Haydock.
And like he travelled really well and jumped really well, and just down that Haydock straight, he just hung. And I think that was the difference between winning and losing. And I wouldn't be convinced my Drogo's going to confirm that form with him. And 1-7-2 and the other's about 20-1. So that was the reason I was nearly leaning him. But it is going to be Lifetime Ambition for the Hunter's Chase. So there are first two selections, Milan Fort and Lifetime Ambition. Onto the Topham Chase then, Dec. Who did you come down on here?
Look, we're having the Indo Dunhill love in tonight. It's Lisnamut lad. He was very good at Cheltenham in October when he went from the front, and he was far from done with now when he came down at Navan in the Tri-Town. I think he's going to go on and win that race, and if he gets into a rhythm around here over these fences, he's going to absolutely love it. And you know when horses, when they're fanned out across this track and they're just going from fence to fence and they're having a great time, it's nearly like they're not racing at all, and I don't even think they'll be using up much energy. And like he could be taking lengths out of the field. I think he could be a joy to watch now if he gets into a rhythm on Friday.
Right, okay. So Lisnamut lad for Dec. I'm going to go to an old friend of mine, Glengooley. I think you knew I was going that way, Dec. A horse that usually has been getting trained. They've been working back from the Thyestes for like the last 2 or 3 years. It hasn't worked out for him. He bumped into Ain't That a Shame last year, who went well for a long way in the Grand National. And then unseated in the Thyestes behind Nick Rocket. But if you go back and watch that race, like he'd lost basically all chance at the start. The jockey lost his irons at the start, was whipped around, maybe should have pulled him up, but he did recover and try and give it a go. And then ironically, the fence that nearly ended his race at the start, because he struggled to get over the first, it did end his race at the last, so he unseated when well beat. But I would kind of ignore that run based on what happened to him at the start that day. And like the last time he tackled the national fences, which was in the Grand National himself. Now he did unseat behind Ian Maximus, but he went well for a long way, and I think it was a tired mistake that caused him to fall. But
I'd have backed him in this last year. Now I was
like he went
go for this last year.
He went good. He went well for about a lap, didn't he? In the Grand National itself, jumped really well.
He was loving it.
Yeah, and I think they've made the right decision bringing him back here to the Topham Chase. I think he's got a right chance now, and I wouldn't be surprised if Paul Townend rides him. So it would be Glengooley for me in the Topham Chase. On to the main event, Dec. Right, we've probably got one we both like. We might go with 3. I don't know if we're allowed.
We go with 4, really.
There'll be parents everywhere, and it'll be costing listeners a fortune to put on this bet. But bear with us. Hopefully,
look, you don't have to put them all into the bet, but I think there's we kind of have 2 we both like, and then we both have one at each at massive odds that has no chance, don't we?
We both, your one literally is a million, I'd say. Like, it's a million. But anyway, so maybe don't put in Dex. No, I'm only messing. Right, so it's going to come as little surprise that, and I'll let you speak about him, Dec, because he's your little pride and joy there. Good old in Tom Rafi. So if you want to speak a little bit about him there, to kick us off.
Well, look, at Intense Travels, it's kind of he looked like an Aintree horse winning at Fairly House last year, didn't he? And like he was brilliant at Fairly House, front runner again. Like what we said about Lisnam Lad, if he gets into a rhythm, he's just gonna really enjoy himself. And you know, even if the way they kind of spread out across the track, even if you're not getting your own way in front, like you're not crowded by horses, and they just seem to really, you know, really enjoy it. And I can see him; he's gonna have a great time whether he wins or loses around here. And I'd say he'll love this. They kept him over hurdles until the weights came out, and he had to give an awful lot of weight. He gave weight to Nick Rocket. There's something like there's nearly a stone.
It is a stone, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it is a stone.
You know, he was only just touched off by Nick Rocket. Nick Rocket, who had won the Thyestes. So
yeah,
I definitely think he reversed the form in Nick Rocket, and just the style of racing is going to suit this race down to the ground. He's going to have a great time.
Yeah, he gave him 3, and now he gets 11, so he actually gets more than a stone. Jesus. So, and it's for the best. I think it's for the best part of a length and a half, maybe. So yeah. Right, Dec. I'll give the other one that we both like. It's a horse that is enjoying a very fruitful season for a trainer that can really do no wrong at the moment. I think it was confirmed either yesterday or today that Mark Walsh is going to ride. Sorry?
I said, oh.
Yeah, okay. I wish it was... I wish I could have brought myself to back I Am Maximus again, but like it's, you know, missing the Bobby Joe was a pretty fatal one for me now. I think he would have needed to take that race in. But the horse I'm speaking of is Percival Lagalwa. In the form of his life, still hard to believe he's only an 8-year-old. He feels like he's been around forever. But he's excelled himself this season. Obviously, winning the Paddy Power Chase as easy as he liked, really beating Midnight or Fred, who didn't really run his race into Kim Muir, was pulled up, but like the runs of Pinkerton, Nick Rocket will do. A few of those horses have ran well subsequently, and then he goes and wins the 3-mile handicap hurdle, the race and stay. I'm not sure if it's still called the race and stay. I think it is. He goes and wins that for the second time as well. Like the horse clearly loves Leopardstown. I don't think he's ever been on the boat before. I don't think he's ever travelled over to England, but that wouldn't worry me too much. He's just a horse that's matured into a fine jumper and a fine, handicap chaser. I think he might be a little bit better than a handicap chaser as well. So I think Percival Lagalwa is the one that is one that you need to have on your side in the Grand National after winning his last 2. Dec, you're onto your outsider that has little to no chance, and then I'll give my outsider that has little to no chance. So who's that? Mine is
Ida's Boy. I've always been quite fond of this horse. I thought he was very, very, very good jumper. Like he was a novice. He was one of the best novice jumpers of a fence, and he missed most of his novice season. I think he won a Grade 3 or something at Cork early on in the season, and then wasn't seen again. But only 3 starts ago, he won the Midlands National at Kildare, and 2 starts ago, he was 10th in the Galway Plate. He's moved yards from Noel Meads to, I'm not sure. You said Sandy Thompson.
It wasn't even, it's Richard Phillips.
Richard Phillips.
Yeah.
But look, another one, a very good jumper who could just have the time of his life around here, and you're enjoying yourself. You go to the second last there with them. You just don't know. You might see it out. But when you're getting a million to 1,
off the same mark as Intense Raffles, 151.
Oh Jesus!
just to put that into perspective, but yeah, an 11-year-old. That is, yeah. Look, stranger things have happened. But Ida's Boy for Dec. My outsider that has little to no chance, assuming he gets in, I think he is going to get in because he is number 34 in the ballot, shares that with Roy Maj and Sheikh Mupari, but I think because those two have subsequently gone down in the weights as a result of runs when the weights have came out, I think Duffelcoat is going to get his run for Gordon Elliott. So he's an 8-year-old that... decent ground is very, very important to him. He's going to get that. a good second in the Galway plate, beaten half a length by Pinkerton at a big price in last summer. Is probably his best piece of form. He did win a Mayo National as well, beating Salvador Ziggy, which again, it kind of shows his well-being for decent ground. And he wasn't actually done with. If you go back and watch the National Hunt Chase, I don't think he'd have beaten Hot Eight Colours, but there's a good chance he'd been second or at least third. He was running on and he jumped well, and he was just brought down by Now Is the Hour at the second last. He was a 50-1 shot in that race. And you'd have definitely got paid. So my theory is, if you fancy Hot Toy Color for the Irish Grand National, for which I think he's anti-post favourite for now, or at least in the top 3 in the betting, there's worse euro or pound or 2 each way you could have in the Grand National than Duffelcoat, assuming he is declared. I think Gordon Elliott has been a little bit lukewarm in it, but I think it was because they thought he wasn't going to get in, but now it looks like that he is going to get in. I think he's definitely worth a little punt at around, depending where you look, he's as big as 100-1. So Duffelcoat for me, which gives you an option of 4 for the for the national course Venezuelan to top off the podcast. Thoroughly enjoyed that one, actually. We might make that a little staple if it's successful. But yeah, that was very good. So the nap of the tap is Croke Park, which hopefully he goes and wins the manifesto. A few others, obviously, a few others that we obviously spoke about in Naas there. Dec's main bet at Naas was 2 pair. Mine was the Desmond McDonough trained in for the night at 4:20. 2 pair in the bumper for Dec, in for the night at the 4:20. Croke Park, the nap of the tap, and then just a quick recap of the selections in the Hunter Chase was Milan 4th and Lifetime Ambition. Topham Chase was Glen Gooley and Lismont Lad, and then any of the 4. We're not going to ask you to back all 4, but you might back all 4. It's up to you. It's Intense Raffles, Percival Agawa, Ida's Boy, and Duffelcoat. I didn't think we'd get over an hour, Dec, but here we are. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm just going to keep asking you guys to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time on Top 99, when we've made you all a fortune with this Venezuelan, when you can thank us, that was all we got time for. And bye bye.
Good luck.
Bye.